Hello again, YouTube land, and welcome back to my channel and another CentOS video. And in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to change the permissions of an object such as a file or a directory. Okay, so at this point, you should have a decent handle on how to read the permission string. We went over that in the previous video, so if I do LL or ls-l, for example, you should know how to read this permission string right here. If you don't already have a good handle on that, feel free to go and watch the previous video in this series where I explain that. And then if you do understand that, well, we're good to go. Let's go ahead and get to it. Let's go ahead and work on changing permissions. In the previous video, I kind of gave it away at the end. It's the chown command, or shown as it's sometimes pronounced. That's the command that we will use to change the permission string of an object to customize the permissions. So if I do LL right here, I can, for example, change the permissions of test file. It's green, which if colored output is enabled, like I mentioned in the previous video, that means that it's executable. It can be run as a program. That can be a really bad thing unless you really do want it to be run as a program. For example, if it's a script. But I'll just demonstrate right here. I could do chmod -x, and then I could do that against text file. And we should see the differences immediately. Test file is white. It's no longer green like it was. You can't always go by that though, but what you can always go by is a permission string. It did have X in every group, but now it has a hyphen where the X would normally be. So that means that the execute bit is now disabled. We cannot run it as a program. In the previous video, I did this, /test file to run it as a program. If I press enter, it says permission denied, which is kind of strange to newcomers because they might be thinking, well, why is permission denied? I'm the owner and I'm logged in as that user. I should have permissions to do everything. Well, you don't, because if X is not enabled, then even you don't have access to do that. So again, this section right here pertains to the user, which is me. So since X is missing, well, because I removed it, now I'm not able to run it as a program anymore. The opposite of that, as I mentioned in the previous video, is chmod +x test file. And now the execute bit is back. I can now do /test file, and that runs it as a program. The test file just only contains the ls-l command, so it's very lame. Nobody does this. It's completely useless, but it serves as an example. When you write scripts, it'll have a number of commands inside the script that'll be run when you run it as a program. So I've run chmod +x test file to add the execute bit to it. And then I did chmod -x to remove that execute bit from the file. Now you could probably guess how we can manipulate the permissions here. So I'll customize it a bit. I'll do chmod -x on test file. I'll just get rid of the execute bit. But I'll also do -w. And let's just see what happened so far. Now we have some really weird permissions, don't we? The user is able to read the file. Members of the group that's associated with that file is able to read it. And everybody else, basically the whole world, is allowed to read it. So everybody can read the contents of this file. I sure hope there's nothing personally identifiable in that file, because read access can be a bad thing. Well, this is just the test file, but you get the idea. Now what's interesting here is my user has read access, so I could do cat test file. The cat command is just one of many ways we could read the contents of a file. Well, we get the contents, and I've already run that in this video anyway. I can do that because I have the read attribute there. If I try to basically open test file in a text editor, immediately we get an error that it's unwritable, which is kind of weird because my user owns the file, but I can't write to it. So I could basically just go down here and say, here's some changes or something, and then Control O, then enter to save it, permission denied. I'm not even able to save my own file. So I can do Control X, and then N for no to discard the changes. No changes have been made to the test file. It's still the same file. Now, if I wanted to add the write permission back to the file, I do chmod plus W for write test file. And now the user and the group have access to write to the file. So if I open this file in a text editor again, I don't get that warning down here anymore. And I can add some changes to it. And it let me save it, no problem. Why? Well, because I'm able to write to the file now, so I'm able to make changes to it. We'll get back to the video shortly, but I want to take a moment to thank my sponsor, Linode. In fact, there's never been a better time to try Linode because from now until May 31st, 2020, Linode is giving every single account access to object storage for free. That's right, whether you've created an account way back in 2003 or just today, you can take advantage of free object storage at Linode until May 31st. And what precisely is object storage, you might ask? Object storage is an easy way for you to store and access data without the need for a running server. And it's perfect for data that doesn't regularly change, like images and other multimedia files, important backups, or giant archives for servers that might need more storage space. One of the best use cases for object storage is hosting your own static website. You can have a site up and highly available on Linode's object storage service with as little as an HTML and CSS file. To give object storage a try for free and get an additional $20 credit on your new Linode account, sign up at www.linode.com/learnlinuxtv. I really appreciate Linode as a sponsor. Not only are they a sponsor, they've been my cloud infrastructure provider for quite some time now, and their service is awesome. Definitely check them out. Now let's get back to the video. Now, there's some additional ways that we can customize this a bit because we don't always want to add a permission string to more than one column. If you remember, I did chmod plus W for write. User and group both got that write attribute applied to it. That might not be what I want though. So I'm going to do chmod minus W on the test file. Now the W bit is gone. And I want to add the W bit just for the user and no one else. How do I do that? Well, here's how I can do that. Chmod U for user plus W test file. So rather than just giving it only plus W, I'm saying I only want the user to be given the W bit. So if I press enter, now that's exactly how I wanted it. My user has, which again is the first column here, or first subsection, has the W bit applied to it now. The group section doesn't, and the other section doesn't either. So now my user can read the file, well, so can basically everybody else, but only my user can write changes to it. But I might not want the group or other to have read access. I could do chmod, and then I'll do G for group minus R test file. And now we have some interesting permissions here, don't we? My user account can read and write to it. Group can do nothing, not even read, but everybody else can read it. That's kind of weird, right? Because basically I'm disallowing members of the group to be able to do anything at all. But if you're not a member of the group, you're able to read it. So basically everybody who's not in that group will be able to do that. But still, that's kind of weird. Let's go ahead and take care of that. So chmod O for other minus R on that test file. And now my user can read it, my user can write to it, but group can do nothing and other can do nothing. This is a private file that only I can now have access to. Now we can actually combine this a little bit. So clear the screen here. We can do chmod G for group, O for other, plus RWX, test file. Let's see what happened. So this is pretty interesting, right? I use the chmod command. I wanted to change the group section and the other section to add read, write, and execute, which is essentially right here, it adds everything. It's kind of weird because the group and other both have more access to this file than I do, being the owner. But, I just wanted to show you that you can combine this, and I could just do the same thing with taking things away. So chmod, and then I'll do group and other again, then -x, test file, and then press enter and see what happened. So now the execute bit is removed. Now my user didn't actually have it in the first place, so let's go ahead and change this a little bit. So I'll do -w, for example, and now my user can read the file and write to it, but the group and other can only read the file. So I'll clear the screen and let's take a look at directories real quick. So again, we have, for example, the pictures directory. I'll just go ahead and use that as an example again, why not? Now I'm going to do chmod -x on pictures. That's a very weird permission to have because I didn't even specify user, group, other. Let's go ahead and take a look though. Now, nobody has the X attribute on the pictures directory. So I'll cd into pictures, permission denied. I own this directory. I cannot go inside of it because that's what the X attribute actually gives me permission to do. It gives me permission to enter into the directory. And since I've removed that, now I can't do that. So to fix it, I could do chmod +x on pictures. It looks a little bit more normal now, so I can actually go inside that directory now. And I am able to list the contents of it. Now let's go back. And let's just do something fun. So I'll do chmod -r on pictures. Have write and execute. So I'll go into the directory. I was able to do that because X is allowed. And I'm going to do touch. This is a test, so I'm going to create a test file there. I was able to do that. Why? Well, because my user has W for write. I'm able to make changes. So let's just take a look. ls permission denied. So I can change the contents of what's inside the directory. I can cd into the directory, but I can't read the contents of that directory. So those are some weird permissions. And I don't think you will probably run into that very often if you ever do see that permission string come up. It's kind of weird, but I thought it would be a fun example because it'll show you basically the differences between permissions as they pertain to directories and files. Let's go ahead and fix it though. So I'll do chmod +rwx in the name of the directory. Now pictures has pretty much mostly everything. User and group both have read, write, and execute in this case. So everyone is able to read it. Everyone can go inside the directory. Not everybody can make changes to it though. But I could be a little bit more descriptive as far as what I want. So I could do chmod group and other -rwx. And now my user has full access to do everything, but group and other have access to do nothing. So go ahead and play around with the chmod command and adjust your permissions of various files and directories. And just make sure that you have a good handle on it. And then in the next video, we will explore permissions one last time to basically learn how to change permissions yet again, but using the numerical value instead of things like RWX. I'll show you everything about that and explain that in more detail in the next video. So I will see you there as soon as I have that uploaded. So make sure you subscribe so you will see that on your list as soon as I have it up. Thanks for watching.